Yeah, then that might help if we've got a gap. Right, so now recording, I'm going to share screen. We're just having a look at the scanner to look at how we draw up scans and to copy one over. So we start with the H1 Trader's Way.
Yeah.
Shark patterns are the only ones that are different because they have 2 entry points. That looks very strange, so we won't look at that one. This one I've already drawn. That's 132 pips because we don't count the little pipette to the right of the decimal point. And as this is a shark, it's the only one where the rules are different. We only enter a shark. We only draw a shark if it's hit the minimum of the second entry point. It has 2 entry points. And the reason it has 2 entry points is because the D point can often slide further down. It's just the pattern. It can often drop quite a lot.
Yeah.
Or 50% of the way to take profit 1 between entry and take profit 1, or at take profit 1. And you can see that this scan has now hit take profit 1. So we would now be able to draw this scan. I've already drawn that one on. So I'll just see if there's
how far would you expect that one to go if it's already hit take profit 1? How far would you expect it to go?
Well, as you said, most scans independently tested, 89% of scans, 100,000 of them independently tested. If you Google it, it'll come up with the results. Complete successfully from D to C, because after a scan's drawn, then it's moving off the D point. So in this case, it's a buy scan. So 89% of scans will complete successfully. Some of them do drop straight off the D point, in which case it's a failed scan. If they've just come down to hit the extensions when we put the pitchfork on, then you're still good to go. But shark is the one where the D point can slip, and that's the one where we do bother with them, but we just have a tighter set of rules on drawing them. Yeah.
Okay.
I was just seeing if there's anything new that we could. So I'm going to draw this one, even though it's a shark, just to show you how to draw a scan. Although this is a bit loose, it's missed its little points here. But it's always high to low and low to high. So if I was drawing it, I'd put it over there. So it's not the best one to show you because it's a bit confusing for people. I don't think I've drawn that one. Let me just measure that might not be 80 pips. That's only 63. 23rd of November. Oh. Let's see which one's that? NZD CAD. 72. So we want a minimum of 80 pips when we're drawing scans. That's a new USD Swiss franc one. Okay, well, we can take this one. I know it's a shark, so it may fail in that obviously it hasn't hit our rules. So normally we'd want it to come down to at least the entry level there, or 50% here, or take profit 1, okay? But I'm going to draw it because I haven't got it, and it'll show us how to draw a scan, okay? So the first thing is, it's simply copy and paste, and we're looking for reversal points in the market, 5 reversal points based on Fibonacci, and it's that plus having the pitchfork put on, which is basically trend lines with Fibonacci inbuilt, that makes them highly accurate, so we can trade them 300 or 400 days old. We can still be trading pitchforks, and that's why they're worth the bother of putting them on accurately down at the 1 minute, which I'll show you, and also why we copy them over to TradingView, because after about 2 weeks or so, they will disappear off the scanner and you'll never be able to find them again. They're gone forever. So once we've identified a scan we want to draw, and we say, is that 80 pips? Oh, and that one's only Go on, I have much luck, am I? That's only 70. I thought that looked bigger. How big's the Euro USD? 101. So Euro USD M15 Shark, again, same thing. I'm going to draw that. Make sure your time zone is the same, bottom right. Come over to your trading view.
Make sure my time zone is the same, is correct for my time zone.
Yes.
Because I'm in a different time zone than you.
Yes, exactly. It must be on your time zone.
Yeah, okay.
So on the HarmonicScanner, I'm Paris, which is UTC +1. I'm 1 hour ahead of UK, and it always defaults me to the UTC +2. Okay.
Yeah.
So I have to change it. And then I come over to trading view, and again, bottom right, check that your trading view is in your local time zone. So for me, make sure that I'm on the Paris one, which is ticked. Okay. And then the next thing is to make sure that you're on the same time frame up here as the scan you want to draw. So M15. So it just needs to be the same. So once so I'm on the M15 chart, time frame, Euro USD, and now I want to look at the scanner. And there are two ways you can do this. Neither is right nor wrong. The first way is that you can write down, pull your mouse over, vertical line, X point, 19th of November, my local time, 11:15. You'll have a different one, whatever yours is. And then A, you can write this down, 20th of November, 6:30, my time. B, C, you just line it up and look at the bottom. And D, the same, okay? So once I've done that and written them down, I can do it that way, or I can come over here, 19th at 11:15. Some people do it like this. That's that one. You can take a brush mark and it'd be low to high to low. No, I think I've got that wrong. Low, high, low. I think that's something like that. So you can just do it like that. Low, high, low.
Yeah.
B doesn't matter so much about the A and the B, 20 and 19. I think it's going to be around about there.
So you're actually going to draw the shark, and you're going to.
Well, I am, because I can always delete it afterwards. It's just to show you how, because I've drawn the others on, so it's just to show you how it's done. Even if I can see it still falling off there a bit. It's just to show you an example. 20th at 1900. That is that one. So you go to the left, make sure the magnet is on. Click on your A, B, C, D, and just left click on your mouse just once, because you're now holding 5 points on your mouse. So just pull it on to the end, must be on the ends of the wicks. 1900. So it's going to be something like that. Check that it looks the same. It does. So we've got X19 at 11:15. Our C point should be 23rd at 1300. That looks about right. And the D I can see is down there. So once we think we've got it on correctly, put our pitchfork on, again using the magnet, because it must be accurate to the end of the wick. X and because you've got the magnet on, it should just sort of click on. CD, change that to white. So the first pitchfork is always X to C to D. So once we think we've got that on accurately, this is the fiddly bit, because we have to come down to the 1 minute and we have to put this on the nearest low. And the reason for this is if you're out a pip now, it doesn't seem to matter so much, but in a week's time, the angle will increase. And then in several weeks or months, it could be out 50 pips. And that renders it non-tradable. And that's why I know it's a bit fiddly. You do get quicker as you do it. And you don't even think about doing it in the end, you know, it just becomes sort of second nature. But that's why we take care over this stage on the 1 minute. So you can see here, just take that brush mark off, tidy up as we go. So if I magnify that, we're looking for so it can look a bit confusing, but you're simply looking for the highest point that's nearest to where you drew it on that 15-minute. So that's going to be that. And if you're unsure, then what we do is we just take a horizontal line. Show you that in yellow. And that, just drawing a horizontal line, you can see I am correct that it was that little candle in the middle is the highest. Okay, I don't always do that, but you know, you can tell that that's the highest out of those three. This pink design is just the pattern. What matters is the pitchfork. This doesn't matter, but I like to pull it on all the same. But you know, it's not important. It's just showing you the shape. And also because I load them into the group. So we've got a back catalogue in case anybody wants some of the old ones. Again, tidy up as I go along. So the B point isn't so important where it's placed. But again, you can see it's going to be to the lowest. So it's going to be on that wick there. But it doesn't matter because it hasn't got a pitchfork on it. So it's not so important. And then the A. Again, I like to tidy up as I go along, remove those brush marks. The A is there. So as long as the scans conform to the rules, minimum of 80 pips, apart from what I've said about sharks, then that happened to be bang on, that one. So once I've got them on the correctly, then I like to lock them on, then they can't slip, because I've had that happen to me in the past. I've learnt the hard way. Back to the 15-minute, just to make sure we like the look of it, which we do. We can tell that looks the same as the scanner, and you're good to go. So this is now tradable, except as we know it's a shark. So what I do with the sharks, 15-minute time frame, I come back here. This is just me being a bit fiddly, I suppose, but I get the ruler off that entry point, 1.1824, 824. Well, that's at 8239, that'll do. Up to take profit 1.1842. And that's 18 pips. So I want 9 pips. 1842, 9 pips, 18 pips, so 9 pips down. So it's something like 1.18325 would do us, okay? 1.18325.
Is that the stop loss?
No, this is, hang on, 1.18. Let me just, so otherwise I'll forget it. 1.18. It's our entry.
Okay.
And I'll come on to that. Just 325. Now I'm on the 15 minutes, so I just need to pull that closer, otherwise it'll disappear. And then put the text on. 50% to TP1. And that reminds me that that's approximately where my entry is. So come down to the 1 minute. And what we now know is that because it's a shark, that we do not find this is not tradable for us until it's hit this point as a minimum. Okay?
Okay.
Because
So
of the rules on a shark. So I know however many days pass or whatever else I'm doing, if I come back and click on Euro USD, I know that's what that tells me, because I write to myself the same note over and over again. So this has now moved off that D point by
Sarah,
nearly 20 pips. So if this was a normal scan, one of the other shapes, it's virtually tradable. But because it's a shark, where the D point is known to slip, it's not tradable. And anyway, as you can see, that 62 needs to curl back round in our favor. We need a break and a retest. It needs to come up past this line or whatever it's going to do, you know. So because once you've drawn a scan, you're only going to trade a buy until it's hit the median on any shape of scan, because that shows the scan has got momentum in it. So I wouldn't ever take a sell off this scan anyway. Okay?
Yeah.
Sorry, I interrupted you.
When it hits the 50% line there, that's your entry point, is that it?
Well, yes and no. It's we still I think I've closed down my trade sheet. We still use our trade sheet. Let me just open it up again. Trade. This one. So the pink line is not specifically our entry, it's a guideline. That below that guideline, you would not take the trade, you would not have a trade. So our mandatory tick is always that we must have a pitchfork touch, and then any two other confirmations, and that applies to any of the patterns, whether it's a shark or otherwise. It's always the same.
Where would I find that sheet?
Yeah, I can send you it as well, but it's also in the it's also, let me see if I can come back using this. Right, down here on the left, you've got your Go Live TV, and then you've got above that Pip Talk. So the Pip Talk channel for this strategy is page 2. It's all alphabetical.
Yeah.
Chance and Samantha.
Yeah.
Channel Clubs 43. And here's the download the trade sheet version 2. That's the same trade sheet, okay? But I can let me send it to you as well. Then we've done that. And then what we do at the top of that trade sheet at the beginning of the week is write down our lot sizes. So we've got that in front of us. You don't need to work out lot sizes every trade. You just do it at the beginning of the week. Otherwise it becomes inconsistent. Attach a document. Downloads. This one. Okay, so you've got that. But as I say, you'll find, and they post markups as well of, they tell you when they're going live if you download the app on your phone, and also weekly planner if you need to block out times you want to work. That's quite useful. GBP ORD 1 hour. They post the markups of the the ones he's done on his session. Okay. And shows you where the entries are. So when we're looking at entries, don't get confused by thinking that that pink line is an entry. It's not. It's an indication to remind us that we're on a sharp pattern and that we don't want to be in below that level because it's a sharp pattern. So when I'm looking for this trade, I will bear in mind where my confirmation lines are as per that trade sheet. And I'll always be on the 1 minute. So I'm only looking for a buy, remember, which would be the other rule, because until it's hit the median, which is my solid line. 10 pips stop loss, 20 pips. So when I'm looking at this trade, first of all, I don't know what's going to happen, because I like to see a break. We like to see a break and a retest, no entry off a pitchfork. And it hasn't done that yet here. We want to see that 62, which is our current momentum, our 1 minute trend, curling round for the buy, because at the moment it's still crossed over the 15 minute and is saying sell. So if you look at putting, if you put a line, I won't make it pink, so it might confuse you compared to the other pink line. Let's make it yellow. All that this is telling you, this 930, as it would appear on 15 min chart, 15 min time frame. So if orange below blue, it's on our confirmation checklist, it means price is confirmed. This is only one confirmation. You need one other, remember, apart from the pitchfork touch. It's confirmed for a sell and vice versa. Okay. So I'll show you what I mean.
You say confirmed for a sell.
Yes, because the orange has crossed.
Are we in this for?
Well, we're only going to buy, but I'm just specifically talking about what the orange and blue lines tell you. So you see this yellow line here. If I now come to, which is on the blue line, whereas we're on the 1 minute chart, our current momentum in the market, this is actually what's happening where the orange line is.
Yeah.
Right. If I come to the 15 minute, then the yellow line lines up with the orange. Can you see it lining up with the orange on the 15 minute?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what it's telling you, so that's all that this blue line is telling you, is how the current trend would look on the 15 minute, and therefore, because the 1 minute is the current momentum in the market, if the orange, which is our current time, has crossed over the 15 minute, it's saying I'm in charge as a sell, because it's crossed over from this level here. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I know it's a little bit hard to grasp, but this is why it's confirmed for a sell, because all this blue line is made up of the 15 minute time frame, which is 15 times 62, which equals 930 length. So this is 62. This is the 62 EMA. 62. Let me get to the settings and I can show you 62, and that's measuring 62 candles, the last 62 candles off the 1 minute time frame. So 62 times the 15 minute time frame gives you a length of 930 for your blue line. Okay, for your blue line. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I've recorded this so you can go over it. That's all it's telling you. It's as simple as that. You don't need to bother about the maths or anything else. But if orange is crossed below the blue, it's selling. Price is selling. If it's above, it's a confirmation, as one of your confirmations for a buy. It's not telling you to sell in this case, though, as a trade setup, because of all the things we've just discussed. Okay?
Okay.
because it's off the D point, it hasn't done a break and a retest, it's a shark, it needs to come up to here. We need to look whether we've got, you know, the confirmations aren't there. We need a pitchfork touch. Okay, we've got that. We haven't got one of the other two other confirmation. Well, we've got this, but it's the wrong way round because we know we only want to take a buy. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's how you draw a pattern. We probably dived in a little bit more than, you know, a bit more. I know it's a lot to take in. Just come back out to the 15-minute. So what anything else? I mean, I'm happy to answer questions. What else? You know, do you want to?
I think your pitchfork is slightly different than my one.
Oh, do you want to share screen and show me what you've got? Would that help or?
1 second.
I'll need to make you co-host.
No, my don't make me co-host because my trading view is on a different computer than.
Yeah.
So can I see your pitchfork again?
Yeah, on the 1 minute.
Yeah. You have lines further away. You have extended lines out at either end.
Oh
of the
yeah,
pitchfork.
good spot. Yes, very important. If I go to these are chances settings for pitchforks. So he has dotted lines on the 0.5 so we can see where the median is. Because remember, this strategy is all about just training your computer brain so you haven't got to worry about what you're looking at when you've done your chart set up. Your alerts go off, you come on to see if you can take a trade. So we put them in dotted so we can always tell where the median is, because we know once the scans hit the median, if we're in a buy, we can then take sells. And we put these extensions on, which you've got 0.5 for that, 1 for the median, which is a solid line, and then the extensions, or Fibonacci's as they are called, are the 1.68 and the 1.5. Let me and if I can you see they've clicked off there?
Yeah.
That's his settings.
Okay.
And they act like Bollinger Bands, Philip. They're like elastic bands, like Bollinger Bands. They should just ping price back into the scan. That's the purpose of them.
The median line, did you say that's a dashed line?
No, make the 0.5s the dashed ones.
The median line, the widest one.
Leave the one that's called 1 as a solid.
0.5 dash line.
Yeah, just the 0.5 as the dash, and the others leave solid.
What's the one you have it there as white? Do you?
Well, I have my most recent pitchforks in white, and then I'll change them and fade them out to green or pale purple as they get older. But you can have them green. You can have them any color you like. It's your preference. That's just how I do it. So I know whether I'm working off a current one and an old one, and also because I'm teaching and I'm loading them to the library, I sort of like, you know, nice and bright. I can't even remember what color Connor uses.
Below the 1, you have a value of 1.618.
Yes, that's chances settings.
Okay,
these are just off chance, and then I've saved it as it's called chances settings or something like that. You can save stuff at the bottom as your template when you've created your watch list. It'll all come up as the same template then.
I'm just changing my settings to match what you have.
Yep. Yeah, because people use different things, don't they? But this is what chance works to. And the reason we're only taking scans that are a minimum of 80 pips is because that gives us our 1 to 2 risk to rewards. Each pitchfork leg, therefore, is a minimum of 20 pips, and we've got a 10 pip stop loss, so it gives us our 1 to 2 ratio as a minimum. That's what it's based on.
Okay.
We don't ever change any of this. We've never even looked at it. So it's just the style.
Just the style, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, and then the other thing is fade that background out. Otherwise, it can look too much.
Yeah.
So we fade that right. Click the background on, and fade it right out. Okay, have you got that? Got that one?
I do.
Yeah, brilliant, brilliant. Okay. What's next then? Anything else for today?
I'm going to open up the attachment you sent me.
Yeah.
And we could go through that.
Yeah. Good idea. So let me. Right, we'll go to. We'll stay on Euro USD then. Let's get rid of some of this. Whoops. So let's see where I can find a trade. Just thinking of. Oh, there was a Euro CAD one. EuroCAD. Okay. So right, this EuroCAD one. So when we're looking at a trade, that's to show you the scan and the pitchfork. The most recent scan takes precedence. I was just trying to hide a few things that are not so busy. But what happened here was that price, when I last looked at it, had been moving out of this white area, the most recent scan from the D point of the 4th of November. So at that point, you can go back to any other scan, but it just so happened, it could have been a scan further back or a bigger one, but it just so happened it was the most recent one behind on the 13th of October, the D point. So I then highlighted that one instead and chose to work off that at the time. It's a bit different now because it's moved back into it, but this was at the time how my thinking was when I was on the charts and doing some markups. So I'm now working off this green scan here. So we'll put the replay button on and then I can put some of the other confirmations on. So bearing in mind the confirmations are, we must have a pitchfork touch, then we have a channel touch, which I can go through, a fib rejection, 61.8 or 88.6, or a break and a retest of the 1 minute trend line. Those are our confirmations. And we have to have 2 of those apart from, or in addition to rather, in addition to a pitchfork touch. Now this white line is not a pitchfork. It's a trend line I've done in white as well, just so you know. But I'll leave it in white if that's okay. And I've drawn that trend line at the time. I always try and anchor your trend lines. I took it from that point there. Oops, but to be honest, it didn't have to be that far back. Just find somewhere you can anchor it. That would have done as well. And you want a minimum of 3 touches. So I've got a touch there. 1, 2, 3. Oh, it's slightly off. I could just tidy that up while we're here. Trend lines, you've got a sort of a zone of a pip either side. They're not as accurate as Fibonacci is trend lines with maths in it, based on maths. A trend line, you can kind of, it's a bit more subjective. You can kind of move it either side of the candles where you think, like that would have done as well. So it's a little bit more subjective. I'll take that off because that was an alert when price was coming down. That was my alert. So I'm going to remove that. That's the beauty of this system. You don't sit and stare at the charts. Once you've learnt the process, set your alerts. When the alerts go off, you know what your setup is. You don't have to think, oh, which way's up? Is it going up or down? Your whole setup will have told you that, what you're looking for. And that's the comfort and confidence that the strategy gives you. So I'm going to replay and we'll talk it through and then we'll mark up the confirmations. So we've come into Tokyo. This is open of the new market day. Open of Tokyo. So at the moment, I haven't got any pitchfork touch, which is my green line. Remember, this trend line comes on afterwards, so I wouldn't have drawn it now because none of the touches exist. So I'm still thinking about a setup, but there's no setup here. Price could have gone up. I had if you remember, I had an alert up there. So I didn't know if price was going to go up or down. At the moment, it's Tokyo just trotting along, doing its thing. Price will often just come back and rest along the 62 EMA. That's its natural resting point. It's an EMA that's an exponential moving average, which means it's weighted to the most current, more recently to the current price, whereas the simple moving average is just taking it across the number of candles. And it's a moving average that a lot of professional traders use because it's near to the 61.8, which is the golden ratio fib. That's why they like it. So price now still moving above. There's my trend line, the points I'm going to pick up on. So I've still got no trade because I've got no pitchfork touch. But now we're coming up to the open of London at 8 a.m. UK time, which is crucial because that's when this is the biggest session in the world. London, Tokyo's the smallest, and you've got Germany coming online. So it's what's called expansion in the market. with all three things happening at once. So you often get what's called a Tokyo fake out. It will do funny things before the open of London, and then you get some good pips. But you can make a few pips before the open of London if you know what to look for and you've got the right setup, obviously. So here we are, it's going to change to yellow. So now we've got the open of London. Never enter a trade 10 minutes before the hour because you get a fake out to the opposite side often. So I'll never open a new trade 10 minutes before the hour. And you can see here, price has wanted to move down and the orange has crossed below the blue. So that's saying to me, price now wants to sell. And if you look back here, had a break and a retest of the 1 minute trend line. So I've got one confirmation for a sell. I've got a second confirmation for a sell, but I've got a pitchfork touch, but not the right way. I've got a rejection there, so that's saying buy. So I haven't got three confirmations in a line at the moment because the pitchfork has rejected, saying buy. I've got mixed messages. That's saying sell, and that said sell back there. So, but I'm interested in it, and I can see the movement down. I've got the open of London. I've got a big engulfing sell candle as well after the hour. And then boom, it's dropped off the cliff. Yeah. So here we've got the pitchfork. We've got Sarah, the pitchfork here, yeah.
When you said don't enter a trade 10 minutes before the hour,
yeah,
are you talking about the hour of the session opening or the hour, any hour during the day?
Any hour during the day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is a slightly tricky trade in that you've got another break and a retest here, and you've got the pitchfork touch, but it didn't give you what we like to see normally is a break and a retest of 10 pips, 7, 8, 9, 10 pips back to the pitchfork. One of our rules is no retest, no entry. So this is a slightly different trade, but as you get more experienced, you'll see that you had the downward momentum, you had the cross, you had a lot of stall out, and then you had this massive drop down. So you could have actually picked it up here because of all this, and that drop there with a strong momentum, and that break and a retest up there, and the pitchfork touch. Well, pitchfork touch here, really, not that one, this one. So slightly different. It's not a classic trade like that, but it was a beautiful trade. So if I then, can I put a fib on it? There isn't a fib. I'll have to find a fib somewhere else. There's no fib on this. There is a channel though. That's why I wanted to use this one because I already had a channel on this. I'll switch that back on. So this was our channel. So you had a channel. Remember, that's a slight slippage, fake out on the hour, 8 o'clock London. So you don't have to have as long as you've got the same touches, you've got good touches along your channel. You've got a lot of touches there. You could have pulled it further out if you wanted to, but you haven't got so many touches as you have if you put it there. You've got all those touches, so that's the one I would have gone for and let that slip through because it only slipped through to test. Price will often want to test the 15-minute. So that gives me a very nice channel. So once price has actually tested the pitchfork, once the 62 has broken the 15-minute, the orange has broken the blue, and I've got that channel touch up to this top end, then and that strong engulfing candle, I'm good to go round about there. And as you can see, it comes down perfectly to here, and that does 30 pips in about 50 minutes. So that gives you that's your daily target in just one trade. So that's a channel touch.
You aim for 30 pips per trade or per day?
25 pips a day, 20 pips trade goal.
Okay. Okay.
Now, I haven't got a fib there. Let's see if I can find a fib earlier on for a trade.
Could I see that chart on a 15-minute time frame? I just want to get a bigger picture.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. I'm just trying to picture the pitchfork. And the pitchfork is the green one, is it?
The green one, yeah. The orange is the orange dotted is quarter theory, which is one of our confirmations as well.
What's quarter theory? Is that one of the lines on the pitchfork?
Quarter theory is this orange. If I turn off the pitchfork, that's quarter theory, this orange line at 50 pip increments. Quarter theory is mathematically based, support and resistance, also psychological. It's where the big banks put their stop losses.
How do you switch on quarter theory?
Let me put the pitchfork back on. Do that. The indicators, Philip, are up here.
Yeah.
Favorite indicators. It's called Harmonic Pitchfork Indicators by B. Willen is the one that you want. Settings, this one. Inputs. And that gives you 3-in-1. It gives you the 2 EMAs. And then I just make the EMA one orange, the second one blue, and then quarter theory, I make it all the same pale orange because no one line is more important than another. They're all equal. And if you change the colors on them, you think that one subconsciously you'll think that one has more importance than another, and it doesn't.
Yeah. Harmonic pitchfork indicators, B. William.
Yes, that one. That gives you the 3-in-1. It works on Japanese pairs. It enables you to back test even when the markets are closed, because normally with the old one where we put them on individually, quarter theory turns off when the markets are closed, but this one it stays on.
Okay, I'm looking at it here now on my trading view.
Yeah.
They're not evenly spaced out. There's some of them are closer together, and then there's a big gap in the middle, and then below the candles, then there's.
What have you got? The HPI indicator by B. Willen. Have you got that one? Have you got the correct one?
Harmonic pitchfork indicators by B. William.
Yes. Okay, so style needs to look like this with all those boxes ticked.
Okay, 1 second, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all ticked.
And orange, dark orange for EMA 1, blue for EMA 2.
Yeah, and yellow for the rest, is it?
Yeah, or pale orange or yellow for the rest.
I'm slightly colorblind, so sometimes I
Oh
have
yeah,
to.
well pick what suits you. It doesn't really matter. It's just I'd stick
Yeah.
to sort of what Chance uses in case we submit charts to him for analysis, then he's looking at something similar. And then inputs, I think it should be automatically, I don't think you have to change anything. It should be 62 and 930 and the level in pips 50, which is your quarter theory. I'm sure it's pretty sure it's all set up already in there. I don't think you change
Yeah,
it.
62, 930, 50, yeah.
Okay, so that's that. I was just trying to find you the find you a fib one just to look at. Right, so if I whoops, not that one. Just switch that one back on. So perhaps try another pair.
Excuse me.
Oh yeah, no worries. It's going to go down. Up. See to find one. Oh, what have we got here? Oh, okay. So
The color bar you have on top, that's the sessions, is it?
yes, I was looking for that the other day and I can't see it anymore. You'll have to find something similar. This is called the FX trading sessions by the FX coach. But I think he might have, I don't know what's happened to it because I can't find it anymore. But you just want something similar that gives you the, I just find it very useful to know. It reminds me, you know, when what's happening in the market, what sessions are coming on.
Yeah. Is that an indicator?
Yeah.
Okay. Would you rate this an easy strategy?
Well,
Pitchforks?
I know I'm fiddling around a bit because I can't seem to find a fib today, because I think it's one of the easiest, because it's just a repetitive process, and it's so precise with the pitchforks. I know it looks like a lot of lines and colors, but it's the pattern just repeats itself over and over again, and I know exactly where I am with the pips. It gives you the profit and the compounding. There's no woolliness to it. I mean, I like HFX as well, don't get me wrong. I think HFX is very easy for beginners.
Is this the kind of thing you would mark up your charts on a Sunday and then?
Yeah, very much so. I tend to do it on a Sunday night.
Yeah.
Right, that's gone right off the D point, this GJ. So that is really a failed scan. Can you see? It's obvious. It's just hated it. So I'm just trying to see, for the purposes of this, if down, up for a buy, down. Trying to find something that looks like a fib. Chance would have spotted one by now. Needs to be slightly lower than the previous high. Just see if I can find anything rather than save us.
For someone who's working, like I could set up the charts on a Sunday, and then I would have an hour each morning that I could spend in front of the computer.
Well, I think it's perfect if you can do that late Tokyo and early London. London's the most powerful session, and focus on Euro, GBP, and possibly CHF, Swiss franc, which are the three hot pairs for London. Or look at Euro, USD, GBP, JPY, USD, JPY, maybe. I'm just going to put a fib on just to show you, because I'm obviously fiddling around for ages. So we come over here to our pitchfork, and further down here, I've got it starred as a favorite, fib retracement. And again, these are chances settings. Lots of professional traders use different fibs, but these are the ones that we use. So for a sell using a fib confirmation, it's past to present, high to low, most recent high to most recent low. So my fib, and it must be exact to the end of the wick on the 1 minute. And fibs are rolling. So once they've completed, they're dead. It's moved on to another set. So if I look at this as a fib trade, I've got my 100% previous past to current present low for a sell, and vice versa. If I was looking for a buy, it would be previous past low to present high, like that. And it's got to reject off the 61.8 or our favorite rejection, as you will see on that trade sheet, is off the 88.6, because that's the long extension leg. So if I look at that fib trade, okay, we haven't got any other confirmation like a pitchfork and all the rest of it, and you wouldn't normally take a fib trade just on its own. We have to have our other confirmations, but for the sake of demonstration today, perfect rejection off the 88.6. So assuming you had a pitchfork touch somewhere, or and the 62 had crossed down, then we can use a fib, and then we use these zones. I'll need to find a better example and go it through with you another time. 0 would be take profit 1, minus 27 is take profit 2, and minus 61.8 is take profit 3. And that's how we use a fib. It's not the most brilliant of setups, as I say. I need to, I'll try and find a decent one when I come across it, and then do a little video for you. So you can see off that 88.6, it came down all this way, past quarter theory, and it's carried on down, but it wasn't a brilliant one.
Is the fib separate to the pitchfork?
Yes, it's a thing on its
Okay.
own right, the fib. And these
Yeah.
are chance, again, these are chances settings. So these are his settings.
Okay.
So he does like using the fibs. He says they're in his top 5 confirmations, but he doesn't always use them. And also he said to us, they can be confusing. And he said to us, please promise me if you get confused, you'll just remove the fib. So, you know, I must say I don't use it very much for a confirmation sometimes.
Oh, the fib is just a confirmation to
Yes.
enter a pitchfork
Yes,
trade.
it's on that trade sheet. It's one of our confirmations, a rejection off the 88.6 or the 61.8.
Okay.
Have you got those settings?
I have the trade sheet, I have the check sheet in front of me.
Yeah, have you got the fib settings though?
Okay, so the fib is fib retracement.
Yeah.
Okay, extend lines right. Do you have trend line selected
Good question.
up on top?
Yes.
You do. You do. So the settings are 1,
Yeah.
0.886,
Yeah.
786,
Yeah.
618,
Yeah.
0.5,
Yeah. Zero.
Is that minus 0.27?
Yes. And you want a 0 in there as well. Mine happens to be on the right-hand column, but the 0 is your 50% line, really.
And minus 60618 again.
Minus 0.618. Yeah, yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Minus 0.618. 0. Use one color.
Yeah. And then don't have the background on because it gets very confusing. And levels in percents.
Okay, shall I save that as?
Save it as a template.
Chance?
Yeah, I've got mine. Chance fib is what mine's called. And then once you've created your watch list, you've got it on, you know, for all of them.
Okay.
If you've got that as your template.
Okay, I have that.
So
how do you?
Yeah.
When I tried to draw it on, it how do I know where to drop it on the, like, where do I put my first press of the mouse and my second press of the mouse?
Oh, when you're on the drawing on the scanner, you mean?
When I'm drawing it on the chart.
When you're drawing what? The
When I'm drawing the fib on the chart.
Well, when you're drawing a fib on, you'll only have 2 clicks.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean about fibs can be confusing. I'm trying to see if I can find one that actually. I don't know if this will work. So when you're looking for a fib, obviously if it's come back to the same 100% level, there wouldn't be a fib there. So if we were looking for, we want, this is a very fast pair, but if we wanted to look for a sell, high to low, would be always just on the 1 minute, no other time frame. Click on fib retracement. Take the past most recent high with the magnet on, so it clicks exactly on the end of the wick. So I've done one left click of my mouse. There's not 5 points on this. There's 5 points. You're getting muddled up. There's 5 points on the X, A, B, C, D of the scan. This is 2 clicks. That's 1 click, which gave me the 100%. I'm now dragging the mouse down without clicking to the most recent low. Pretend all that hasn't happened to the right. So then I'm looking to see if it's reversed back, and it hasn't quite there. But it does wick off it over here, the 61.8. But really, ideally, I mean, this is a very fast pair, so you won't always get it. It's 6.6 trillion a day market, which is why we love this strategy, because we think, oh, I'll have a slice of that on the 1 minute. Ideally, you like your rejections to be perfectly matched to the line, which is why it's important to get to the end of the wick. So, but you can see it has stalled out for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 minutes all along the 61.8. But as I say, ideally, when we're using a fib, we like it to be a perfect to the pip rejection, because that shows how respected it is. It is also a long quarter theory, which is of interest. And then you see it does drop down. But as I say, it's not a very good example because it doesn't drop down to the 0% line, which would be your take profit 150%. So I was just trying to see if there was one that actually worked perfectly. Chance is far more experienced than me, so I expect he would have spotted one by now. So, I mean, I do use them, but I kind of use them when I can see them, if that makes sense, rather than trying to look back and find one, especially if I haven't traded one recently. Because I'm trying to find one that lines up with a pitchfork. I know when Chance, when he's back testing, he goes, oh yeah, here's one. You know, you can just see them right, left and center. Well, I can't always see them because I need to find it by a pitchfork. And is that one there? No, because it hasn't come back very far. So if I was looking for that as a fib confirmation for a buy, it would be most recent past low to most recent high present. But I can tell even just visually that that isn't at least 50% of the way back, never mind 61 or 88. That's what that's all I'm looking for, is where I can see that sort of perfect angle to see if I, can take a trade.
Sarah, I'm going to take on board. I'm going to take on board what you showed me.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch some videos from Chance and Samantha, and
I'll just stop recording so we don't